This conference will now be recorded.
So today the topic is cloud computing. It is very hot topic in IT industry, and everyone is moving to cloud. So everyone is looking for cloud migration DBS. Okay, so if you are good in cloud, so you are hot cake in the IT industry. Okay, so this is my achievement. Almost 11 certification I passed from 2009, and this is my achievement in terms of blogging. My technical blog OracleRide and my two other blogs where I am the author. These two blogs are Turkey based blog, and both blogs are very famous: IT tutorial and DB Dirt. And this is my latest achievement in terms of YouTube. Now I have YouTube channel, and right now after 30 days I will get the name of OracleRide, and this is the link. And till now I have 574 subscriber. And why I open this, because sending videos to everyone is very hectic. So this is the one place where I upload my all videos uh, in future, and you can check later on and you can get the benefit. Okay, so let's begin with the main things where we are here. So what is cloud computing? So cloud computing, if you see in the picture, there is one company, and every company has website, because website is the need of today. And there is one cloud provider is there. And now when your website is going to cloud, so that is basically a cloud computing. So you will ask how it is cloud computing. So in general example, suppose you are using the electricity, right? So you are not developing the electricity. You don't have any power plant. Okay, only what you are doing, you just take a connection from government or from a private subscriber, and after the unit which you consume in month wise, so you have to pay that. So that is the same concept in terms of cloud computing, where everything you don't have, you are using from other vendors. So that is basically a cloud computing. Got it? In general term. So if anyone is asking what is cloud, so we can say that cloud computing is a renting resources like storage, CPU, and another things which you want to use it, but you don't have capital to purchase that. So that's why you are looking for someone who can provide this services. So that services is basically referred to as a cloud provider, a company which actually giving the services to you. So that is the basic definition, you can say, a cloud computing. So in general term, if I say I was got this Larry Ellison statement just today, so that's why I have added this slide in my this session. So what he said, cloud computing using a computer that's out there. Okay, so in terms of Wikipedia, cloud computing is internet based computing whereby shared resources, software, information are provided to computers and other devices on demand like a public utility. So you see that in the diagram, that there is one application is there, platform is there, and infrastructure is there. So these three basically are fundamental of cloud computing, right? So that we discuss more in detail in this slide. So what is history of cloud computing? Actually, we know that in 1960s standalone mainframes are there, and your virtualization support in mainframe started 1970. So modern cloud computing, you can say, born in 50 plus year. Okay, so that is the movement when cloud computing is started. So that is all about history. So means spread of distributing computing system in the 90s. That is the beginning of the internet era, as you can see in the diagram. So that is basically start the base of internet era things, and your centralized computing occurred, and your from mainframes system to client server system introduced in 1980s. So cloud computing is not new, it is very old. Okay, and the late 90s application offered as services over the internet, and distributed customer relationship management software, and introduction of server hardware virtualization of the internet. So if general term, if we say we have computer power, we have storage, we have network, and we have analytics. So that things actually involve or responsible by the cloud provider. So these services which user get. So cloud computing services is basically to make run a business easier and more efficient, whether it is a small startup or large enterprises. Okay, so every business has a unique and different needs. So if you have suppose need A, you will go for that. If you any other provide company has need B, so it will go for that. Okay, so in 90s, if we come back, so in 90s they subscribe as a three terms: infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. So these three components become as cloud computing. Okay, so what are those, we discuss later on. So what is cloud computing enabled technologies? We have several things in the development of cloud computing. The first one is cloud data center, virtualization, cloud APs, and cloud storage, and cloud database. Okay, and if you say what is data center, everyone knows that because DBA works in the data center. So it provides basically scalability, reliability required for cloud computing, and it's located in cost-effective areas, and it's designed as a modular data center design. And what is virtualization? Everyone knows that on Windows software, if suppose you have a laptop and operating system has Windows, so you will install the virtual box or VMware, and in that you will create a machine, and that machine OS will be different or will be same. So that's why in one machine you can run multiple machine, or you can create multiple server. So that is virtualization. So multiple virtual operating system run on a single physical computer, as I said. And what you are doing, you are utilizing the resources, and you are efficiently access those resources. And in terms of cloud, you have this pricing model, which is very good phrase, you can say pay as you go. So this is the pricing model. And what is cloud APIs? Cloud API is basically a programming interface, or that basically serve as a layer between user and cloud services and resources. So UPI architecture is basically a state transfer or REST, and cloud storage is basically accessed by web-based HTTP AP interface offered by cloud service provider. Okay, so now in terms of storage, we have database. So cloud computing is not well suited to relational database. That is the important things, and limited scalability and integrity with SQL based language. That's why we have different type of databases in the enterprise, or on the cloud. And non-relational databases are better suited for your cloud, and the key value is ITM oriented and easily scalable. Okay, now come to definition of cloud computing. So the definition, there is one group which is called as National Institute of Standard and Technologies. It has given this definition long back, I think in 2011, but that definition is also applicable in 2020. So what is that? If you learn from Rohit Rahi sessions, in that he mentioned this definition in his slide. So what is cloud computing? It is a model for enabling convenient on-demand network access to a shared pool of configurable computer resources such as network, server, storage, application, and services, and that can be rapidly provisioned and released with minimum management effort or service provider interaction. So this is general definition of cloud computing. I hope it is clear to everyone, right? Now, the other word cloud basically makes reference for two concepts that is associated with cloud computing model. The first one is abstraction and second one is virtualization. So what is that? A process in which specific details are hidden or ignored to simplify or generalize something. That is called as abstraction. And virtualization means a process in which software manage hardware resources of physical host. So resources can be used more efficiently by multiple virtualized guest system. Okay, so that is another thing which you can say about the cloud. Okay. Now, cloud computing has three layers. The first one is infrastructure cloud, content cloud, and information cloud. So what is that? Infrastructure cloud means abstract application from servers and servers from storage. And content cloud means you abstract the data from the application. And information cloud means abstract access from clients to data. So that is three layers in cloud computing. And in terms of cloud terminology, that distinct IT environment, purpose of remotely provisioning scalable and measured IT resources. And IT resources basically are physical or virtual, and that will be software based or hardware based. Okay, so we have on-premise things and we have on-premise IT resources. So on the premises of control IT environment, that is alternative to cloud based. If you have big organization like Reliance and many other companies which are big, so they have own IT environment, though they don't require any cloud-based infrastructure, so they have on-premises environment. But suppose if you have a startup uh, mm, Zoom, I think, and they are using now Oracle Cloud, and another one is added or took the cloud things that I forgot his name. That is 828, I think, company, something like that. And on-premises IT resources can be access and internet with cloud-based IT resources. So we move to a cloud, changing it to a cloud-based IT resources. So you have to take care about that. And cloud consumer means party that used cloud-based IT resources. Suppose I am free webinar provider. Okay, so I want storage or something infrastructure for to show my practical to everyone. So actually, I was talking with the Azure about asking the infrastructure where I can create the machines, where I can create the instance, where I can create the databases. So I am very small in terms of in IT industry. So that's why I am taking services from other vendors who are big. Okay, so that is I am cloud consumer. Maybe I can Right now I'm using free Azure license. And cloud provider basically a party which provide cloud-based IT resources. So cloud is started by AWS, I think, and I'm not sure about that, but definitely I think this is the AWS which actually started for own product, and after that they feel it should be rented. So then they started as a rented web services, and then Azure in the market, then Google and many other vendor like Rack Space and something. And now Oracle came late, but it is in the race. Okay, yeah, 828. Thank you, Paji. 828, yeah. Cloud terminology, we have scaling and vertical things. In scaling, we have horizontal and vertical. So horizontal means you are allocating the resources of the same type, that is scaling out. When you are releasing the resources of same time, the same type, that is scaling in. And vertical means you are replacing the IT resources with another lower capacity, that is scaling down. And when you are replacing with higher capacity, that is scaling up. So these terms are used in cloud terminology, so you need to know about this. Okay, and then cloud services means any ITC resource made remotely access via cloud, that is cloud service. And cloud service consumer means a customer which assume a software program when accessing a cloud services. Okay, so cloud computing core attributes are few, that is elastic, on demand, provider, pooled computing resource, metered service usage, and broad network access. So these are the attributes of cloud uh, computing services. So what is elasticity? Means you are adding or removing resources or services as needed, that is called as elasticity. And on demand, your cloud service available for 24 hours a day from anywhere, given network connectivity, that is on demand. And provider pooled computing resources means cloud provider acquires and maintains all computing hardware on which cloud service run. And metered service usage means you can take subscription fee plus per use billing model. So storage space and bandwidth consumption will be based on that. And broad network access means cloud services can be accessed from any type of devices. You can access from desktop, laptop, mobile, laptop, tablet, smartphone. Okay, so that's why this dollar sign is there. And I think Amazon services, if you are using minimal, so that will around cost $0.12 per hour. Okay, I have read somewhere. And now cloud computing service model, as I said, three, that is main: infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. So in that services, who will target it? IT managers, not end user. Platform as a service, IT developer and software developer will target. And software as a services target end user, no IT admin, no developers. So this is the layer of cloud computing services model. And these things is same in all cloud. Either you have Azure and Oracle, you will get in both the clouds. And if we go in detail, infrastructure as a service, so where IT compute resources on which other cloud services run, and resources available remotely over a network. And platform as a service means you can create application for user, you can test application, you can deploy application, you can perform using resources remotely. And software as a service, which is last, that is for business purpose, and it services delivered remotely over a network. User can use any type of devices. User requires only or user device require only a thin client, and user may have limited application configuration settings to use these services. Okay. Now there is another model, SaaS, cloud computing services, which is based on anything as a service. Any IT services hosted on provide infrastructure remotely available on the network. And this cloud service model has DaaS, data as a service, STOS, storage as a service, CASS, communication as a service, and BPaaS, business process as a service. So data as a service means data is available on demand and encrypted in transit geographic location. User can use any type of device, one version of data file. And storage as a service means off-site data backup storage, long-term data retention. And SaaS, basically communication as a service. So communication infrastructure hosted on private equipment, remotely available on a network, complex equipment setup, fault tolerance, and pay as you go. So that is about SaaS. And then BPaaS means business process as a service. So it rely on SaaS, PaaS, or infrastructure as a service, and outsource business process automation. These terms are very difficult actually. Okay, so business process delivered over the cloud, and faster time to market, and regulatory compliance handled by the provider. So what is basically cloud is important. uh, Banking sector is not moving on the cloud. Okay, so why they are not moving? Because of the security. So that's why cloud say that, okay boss, if you are not moving, so you can use my different cloud service, because we know that we have public and we have private or hybrid, and then community, and then many other things. Okay, in terms of cloud based things. So that will come in next slide. So for security, data security is very important when you are taking cloud computing. So data is stored offsite in the cloud infrastructure, less direct control over own data. Okay, so that's why banking is not moving on the cloud. Okay, so data may be more vulnerable on the third party. So cloud computing solution can offer encryption, password authentication, and basic identity management. So that's why cloud service provider are working on that security too much. Because of that, they want to take all the industry on his own umbrella. Okay, so cloud service provider basically doing the improvement on data security. So data regulatory compliance, handling of sensitive data. So the aim is that user data is as more secure in the cloud than on their own on-site system. Okay, so that's why they are focusing more on the security. Okay, and cloud service evaluation has many factors which you can take a consideration. So whenever you are determining the best option for cloud service, so the important thing is network connectivity, because we know that everything will be on the net, and you can access only when you have a good network connectivity. So that is very important factor when you are taking any cloud services. Got it? Thanks, Danish. So and next is scalability. Scalability means whatever resources you are using, if you want more, you can add more. Okay, if you want if you don't want, then you can remove easily. So that is basically depends on fees on your subscription. So that is important factor. and speed of implementation, time saving with immediacy of resources availability, and greenness means shared resources equates to reduction in power consumption, and control means less direct control over own data and services than traditional computing model. So that is the factor. And compliance is very important factor, and importance of regulatory compliance requirement with the security and privacy. So there is the act, which is Federal Information Security Management Act, which is responsible for that. So that are basically cloud service evaluation, and that's why SLA is between the client and service provider, which is the need for every customer. And what SLA will include: service scope, service availability, customer requirement, and payment terms. So these things will add in your SLA outline. So service scope means it will define accept level of cloud provider technical support, and define service uptime expectations. Suppose if one service is down, so you want within a second or within a minute or within a hour. So that depends on SLA. And customer requirement, negotiate and define based on type of organization. That organization may be private or governmental. And payment terms is basically the frequency of payment and subscription fees, whether you are using or not using. Okay. And now business and consumer cloud services. So what is that? Cloud computing basically impacts the customer, or you can say consumer, and business. So consumer means personal storage and computing requirement. So that is document, photograph, video, audio files, and social networking purposes. So and business means various types of business make use of cloud computing. So self-employed individuals, startup business, small and medium-sized business, and enterprises. So that are main target right now. And cloud computing entry cost can be affordable and attractive to startup and a small business. That is the main aim of the cloud service provider. And it is easier to transition a small business to the cloud, and fewer processes and applications to migrate, and minimal legacy data is there. Okay. So personal data security and privacy in the business, and that basically subject to strict corporate regulation. On-site data storage more appropriate. So for some large business, personal data security and privacy is a minimal concern. So cloud computing can improve time to market for their product and services. So that's why every cloud provider is improving, and day by day they are adding new things in the cloud. So that's why customer can take their services. So cloud compliance and regulatory issues is basically based on nature of business, specific regulations. That can be storage, that can be data, that can be access of the data, and that can be level of the accessing. Okay. And then health insurance, portability and accountability act, which is responsible for taking care of that. So cloud computing and regulatory issues comprises cloud provider generally won't identify where data reside. So that is main concern. So verify data location restrictions with provider, ensure only authorized individual can access the data, and important for the provider for separation of duties of for administrative function. So that's why the cloud provider is taking expert who are in cloud. So like Microsoft, like Oracle, like AWS, like Google, everyone is searching a good cloud candidate. So cloud is basically long lasting technology. Okay, I heard from Marcus, that is rack expert in Oracle company, and in his session he mentioned that cloud is the long lasting technology. It will remain for many years. So if you want to move in any technology, so cloud is the best one, where you can enhance your skill, where you can uh, get more security in terms of job. And what are the barriers of cloud adoption? So cloud computing can offer many benefits but have some barriers also. So business data security and privacy and compliance, okay, and fully guaranteed reliable high quality services, pay as per use model, effort, overall cost of adoption, so that is the consideration, and geographical location of stored data, and restricted internet access because of the geographical policy of the government, and locate logged into inflexible contract, so that are barriers. And now come to cloud service stacks. So please elaborate what I need to elaborate. Can you say on which slide you want to elaborate? Oh, please explain in detail most of topics. I am new to cloud computing, my dear. In one session, I cannot explain each and everything in detail. Okay, so if you see this cloud computing is basically a basic paper, or you can say fundamentals of the things. In 1 hour, I can give the overview and all. Okay, detailed session, if I get good numbers, then I will take it. Okay, so today I am doing second things, third session on cloud. Okay, so I will try to do more explanation in that. See, everyone is new in cloud computing, so don't worry. You don't feel that you are only new. And cloud service stakes is basically, as I said, SaaS, PaaS, and infrastructure as a services. And this is the main. Then this will come, and then this will come. Okay. So if you see the diagram, so this is the base, and after that this will come, and at the last this will come. Okay. So if you see the the picture wise, what are the component added? So you see that facility at the end, then hardware came, then abstraction, then core connectivity, then APIs. So these refer as a these things. And integration and middleware, date, metadata content, that is application, APIs, and presentation mobility and presentation platform. So moving upward in the stack, each service model inherits the capability of service model benefit. Okay, so you need to understand these services. Okay, so the stack is organized from the most to the least complex, and each service relate to the next and provides a level of depth. Okay, and SaaS lets you leverage existing application. PaaS enable you to design custom application, and infrastructure as a service offers most complex services. because this is the base and this is the starting. So infrastructure as a services, basically, as I said, target IT manager. So if you see that, what is this? This is tie. Okay, so who wear this? Manager. Okay, and IT guy, software engineer never do this. Okay, so available to any device on the network. I'm kidding. Okay, so this is infrastructure as a services, and infrastructure as a service basically provision to new compute resources and deprovision resources. So that will come, and it again it compute infrastructure not required locally, less local square footage for IT resources, less local energy consumption. And then if you talk about pass, it available to any device on the network, and it provides basically have a provision to new application and required resources, and it also have a provision to deprovision applications rapidly, and server infrastructure not required locally, and it is a faster time to market. So this will come in platform as a service, and also that is available on demand, and it eliminates wasted time due to IT acquisition. It simplifies the process of creating, testing, and uploading of applications. So that benefit you will get. And software as a service basically is for user, and that you can provision and deprovision. Okay, and it is available to any device on the network, and server infrastructure not required locally, and application licensing, monitoring, management done by the provider. So this is the top model in terms of cloud as a service. Now, costing, these two terms is very important, capex and opex, and you will get in 1085 exam. One question is there, what is the full form of capex and opex? I get in my paper, so that's why I'm saying, okay, I'm going a bit fast. Okay, so I will go little slow. Thanks for reminding me, because I feel I'm okay. That's why I'm doing this. So resources usage is metered, and chargeback department billing. Internet consumer is billed, and consumer does not incur IT capital expenditure. So basically, if suppose you have a startup, so you don't have capital for setting up infrastructure, so what you will do, you will take a service from the provider, and then this term will come, operational expenses. So whatever things you are using for your operation, you have to pay that. So that referred to opex. And cloud provider has a capex expenditure, because they can build the cloud, they build cloud actually, so they are providing as a rental basis and pay as you go. Okay, so this is the things. uh, uh, Suppose I missed actually that picture which mentioned in Rohit Rahi lecture. That example was about the pizza management. Okay, so that basically, suppose you are making your pizza at home, so that you want uh, that you choose, you take a cheese, you take a toppings, you take a tomato sauce, you take a pizza dough, you take a fire, you take a oven, you take a electricity, gas, and you take a soda, and after making that you required a dining table. So that is basically uh, on premises functional things. But now when you want to take and bake, okay, means you want to take as a service, infrastructure as a service. So what you will manage, or what vendor will manage? Vendor will provide the cheese, vendor will provide the toppings, vendor will provide the tomato sauce, vendor will provide the pizza duff, okay, and that you will take from the vendor. So that is infrastructure as a service. After that, what you will manage? You will cook in your kitchen. That means you will use your fire, your oven, your electric or gas, your soda, your dining table. So that is infrastructure as a service, okay. And if suppose you want pizza should be delivered, so what vendor will manage? Vendor will manage cheese, toppings, tomato, pizza, fire, oven, electricity. So that is called as platform as a service. So only soda and dining table you will manage. But suppose you want to dine out, means you want to take as a service, so that is software as a service. So everything whatever I said, like cheese, toppings, tomato sauce, pizza, fire, oven, electric, gas, soda, dining table, all will be managed by the vendor. So this is the general example of cloud service model. I hope you get it. Actually, my brother Mohit Paji sent me in WhatsApp. Actually, I missed that picture to add in the slide. So sorry for that. Uh, but if you watch Rohit Rati session on Oracle side, so maybe you get I think you have that picture in his presentation. Clear, guys? Not traditional internal IT infrastructure, basically all things which you acquired, set up and manage everything. So that is high capex. And location facility means owned by a third party that rent basically space equipped for housing and running IT infrastructure. So it also provide network connectivity, backup power, and physical security services. So high capex and moderate opex. So that will come. And when you say manage services, so what you do? Full outsourcing of IT infrastructure, and provider responsible for hardware, basic software system, software rental, and database management. So it will reduce the capex and it will increase the opex. And if you are using public cloud, so fully outsourced infrastructure solution and hosted virtual computing environment, and it will involve only opex based on your services which you are taking from the cloud provider. Okay, so that's why these two terms are very important, capex and opex. And cloud computing is generally a cost effective. Actual cost of implementation depends on the business requirement. So if you want to adopt the cloud, so you need to think about some considerations. So what are those? Ongoing operational cost, reducing capital expenses, ability to upsize or downsize on demand, shifting the risk, reuse of services, and agility. So these are the factors which are important. Now, cloud deployment models we have, one is public cloud, another one is private cloud, second one, and third one is hybrid cloud and community cloud. So I have added only these four. So what is public cloud? Public cloud basically IT services available to any subscriber on the net, IT services based or hosted on provider equipment, services available 25 by 7, easy and inexpensive for consumer, reuse existing data configuration, rapid scalability, data reside in a data center, data center can replicate data, provider makes capital investment in infrastructure, consumer treat public cloud cost as operational expenses, reduce local space usage, energy consumption, less local IT expertise required, responsibility for IT services main falls on provider. So that is the benefit of public. So if suppose today I want to say about public cloud example, so we are IT guy and right now we are working from home, right? So I am not using company power, I am not using company fan, I am not using company AC, I am using my own. Okay, so company is getting benefit. And also if you are working from home, so you have to work 24/7. But if you are working in company, so you can work according to your shift. After shift over, you will feel relaxed. But if you are working from home, you are not bound in the shift. Okay, whenever you have any outage, any mail, you have to open the laptop and you have to do the work. So that is the drawback for the employees. But for the benefit for the employer, they can, that's why TCS is thinking about to implement long terms work from home. Okay, and that is beneficial for both. Okay, and not beneficial only for employer or not beneficial for only for employees. Okay, so same way we have public cloud where everything consumer is using from vendors. Okay, don't have any means any things need to invest. They will pay only what they use. Okay, now come to private cloud. In private cloud, hosted on equipment owned by private organization, delivered over a network, available only to user within the organization. And private organization is responsible for hardware, software, licensing, installation, configuration, patching, and troubleshooting. So you have a button in private cloud, and private cloud organization has full control over data, regulatory, and fault tolerance. That's why Oracle is main focusing on private cloud. Oracle say to the customer, boss, don't worry, I will come in your organization, I will put everything, I will manage, I will put my worker, and everything will be in your premises, so you will feel secure about your data. So that's why Oracle is focusing in that terms mainly. Okay, because banking wants to everything in own premises. Okay, so and now hybrid cloud is basically a combination of public and private. So what is that? Consumer integrate on-premises IT services with cloud provider and could be used as interim solution before moving to a public cloud. And what is community cloud? Basically based on the pool's computing resource to serve organization with common needs. That is the main concept for community cloud. And regulatory compliance, fast access for data and application, and similar security requirements. So in private cloud, will there not be capex? No, but opex will be more because you want everything to be in your premises. So you will provide the area, right? So you have area, so that area cost you can say will be burden on you. And so indirectly you can say that uh, capex will be required or not. Okay, so that is depends on the how much big you have in business. Okay, so that I want to say. Capex involved is everywhere. If you see my private slide where I have mentioned, I think where it is. Yeah, this is high capex. So I think you miss on that time. So high capex means you have internal IT infrastructure, and you have high capex and moderate opex. Then you have reduced capex and increase opex when you are outsourcing more. And when you in terms of public cloud, you have only opex. Clear? But every operation will be done by the cloud provider. Of course, see, it depends on the SLA, what you want in SLA. So that's why hybrid is the model of public and private. So it depends on the consumer which area he wants from the public cloud, and which things he wants from the private cloud. Okay, so that's why it has both the characteristics of public and private. So it depends on cloud requirement, and that will lead the cost. If he requires everything from consumer provider, then opex will increase. If he requires some parts from provider, then its capex will increase. Now got it? Now cloud model adoption. So in addition to initial outlay cost, important to consider, what is ongoing operational cost, reducing capital expenses. So costs basically are more than monthly subscription fees, bandwidth cost, and compliance maintenance. Okay, and reducing capital expenses means you leveraging unowned cloud technology, unaffordable to purchase outright, so that will come in reducing capital expenses. And free payment model means registering and using the services, and advertisement using usage metrics might be tracked and sold. And plan payment model, basically consumer commits to anticipated usage, billed at a premium for usage over your plan, useful for pattern of regular use of IT resources. Okay, and pay as you go is based on small monthly subscription fee, and your usage will be monitored, and limit can be placed on usage to avoid large bill. Okay, and accessing application for the cloud, certain application are more suited to cloud computing, and such applications are required only for a limited period, need to be scaled, and are non-critical. And the public cloud model may be a great solution for those companies who are starting their businesses, because they have minimum capital outlay and scalability, and but they want quicker time to market for new products. Okay, and cloud model may not be the ideal solution for legacy system, mission critical application, and application those handle sensitive data. So that you need to think about cloud service provider. And then choosing a cloud services, so consider these IT services, and consideration moving them to public cloud, like corporate email, file server, line of business, order processing application. So cost actually shift from capex to opex. So for services, basically cost may be significantly lower when you are using file sharing, and potentially remove all on-premises server and support staff basically required with cloud skill. So this is for those who wants to make a career in cloud. If you have a cloud skill, then in 5 years of experience you will get in India 19 to 20 lakhs. Okay, don't ask the company name. And This application provides only available in the offices. uh, that basically, this is the example actually I put here. So email and file sharing LOB application. So email, this could be positive, enable from work from anywhere, and LOB application, this will have negative things, that privacy of customer data and potential of data breach. And availability implications means your email no change except internal email fails with the internet. File sharing and LOB app. So, and elasticity implications, where file sharing and email likely to be relative predictable loads. And LOB application means loads vary with the business. Rapid growth will also require elasticity. So this is basically example of elasticity implication. And then legacy app implications, where LOB app may be intolerant for variable network, may require legacy hardware. And in terms of email and file sharing, candidate for infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. So that is all about the cloud computing. I know in 1 hour I can't take it everything, but more than 1 hour it will feel you bored, okay, because people are leaving. So thank you guys for joining this session, and I'm stopping the recording.